So this week, let's talk about what you can do when you're deciding, hey, I'm going to cleanse and I want to detoxify. You don't want to jump into something crazy. In fact, this little symbol, I think, gives us an idea of what we want to be doing when we're thinking about cleansing. And that is, we want to be relaxing. We don't want to overload ourselves. We don't want to stress ourselves out. And so we go easy, or another way we like to say it is slowly is holy. So the first week you cleanse, and it can be this week. It's still springtime. We're still in that moment. We're still in that magical moment. It's a really good time to cleanse. First week, get down to one meal a day. Everything else is liquids. You have soup. You like soup? Great. You like water? Great. We'll have water. You want juices? Okay, we'll have juices. You want smoothies? We'll do smoothies, but only one solid meal a day. And so we get disciplined about that. And that means there's no impulsive behavior going on. We get the impulsive behavior under control in week 1. Now, of course, it's going to be a plant-based cleanse. So you're going to go vegan that week. So if you're vegan, cool. If you're vegetarian, cool. If you're a meat eater, cool. But you're going to have to pare it down for this week because we're cleansing, right? That week, we're bringing the calories down as well. So in the beginning of the week, it's more experimental. You're just trying this out. It's like, okay, one meal a day. Let me just do this consistently. And maybe you screw up on day 3 or 4. But you can't really screw up too much because we've got to start towards the end of that week, day 5, 6, 7, bringing the calories down so that we're ready for week 2. And in week 2, what we're doing, all vegan again, we are bringing the calories down for sure through week 2, just like we did in week 1, but we're going to go 100% liquid. That doesn't mean it has to be 100% juices. Doesn't mean it has to be 100% soup. Doesn't mean it has to be 100% smoothies. It could be a mix of what you like, but we're bringing the calories down. So it can't be 7 or 8 smoothies with lots of sugar in it all day long. You've got to start to bring that down. And this is kind of natural, happen anyway. It kind of becomes easy to direct that energy towards less because your body will say, hey, it is springtime and we do want to cleanse. And hey, we are feeling better with less. And hey, we're dealing with the low blood sugar better and low blood pressure better. And then the next step on week 3, which is I'm in day 16. So I'm in week 3. I'm 2 days into week 3. Then we start into the fasting. Then we're ready to fast. And so what I've learned over the years is that if you're fasting at home and you're fasting unsupervised, you got to have your electrolytes. And that means water, sea salt, lemon, and that's it. There's nothing else. Now, if you have no sea salt in there, what ends up happening is you can have really low blood pressure or go through a really intense swing of energy where your energy just drops down, and it's not appropriate for home cleansing. If you're doing like a supervised cleanse when you're in a clinic and you got doctors watching you, okay, great. But that's not what we're doing. This is home stuff. And so we want to make sure we don't drop down in our electrolytes and suddenly have no energy. And that can happen spontaneously if you're fasting, for example, just on distilled water. And that can be very difficult for newbies or even oldies like myself, because suddenly, if I'm running around, I'm doing my normal thing. Once I get, say, 6 days into it, then I might do the 7th day on, no water at all and just do a dry fast, or I might do, nothing or whatever. That's down the road. In the first steps of getting used to cleansing with the seasons and getting those calories down and getting that weight off, getting that waste off of you, it's really important to just not go completely okay, you go totally idealistic. And people do that. I get that. They go, it's got to be just distilled water. And I read this book and it's going to be this way. And if it's not this way, then it's, that all of that stuff is super dangerous with fasting because we're more toxic now than ever before. There's more toxins in the environment than ever before. We're born into it. We're born into our mother's womb. We're already synthetic chemicals are present in the womb, and it goes on. All our lives are being exposed to all this stuff. So that is a key piece of it, is just relax, chill out, make sure you enjoy your avocados while you can. And during the week 1, and maybe you're going to blend them in on week 2. And then when you get into week 3, it's you're going to go onto the water. Now, at this point for me, yeah, it's nice to get the rubber tire off from the winter, and I'm already feeling like, geez, I can't grab anything. That's good, So I'm day 16. I'm already at that stage, but I'm going to keep going. And this time, I'll probably go 55 days or longer. Normally, I'm bringing people through a 21-day process and then a 10 and a half days back to normal. So if you're going to cleanse, let's say for 21 days, you don't suddenly go, let's go back to bread on day 22. That's going to be a disaster because your system's all it's ready for water. I mean, you've been drinking water. You can't suddenly go to bread. It's going to be a clog and a half, and you're going to feel terrible. So you got to be very careful on the way out, and you go out the way you came in. So those 10 and a half days on the way out, which is half as long as the cleanse was, right? So we take 21 days, divide it in 2. We have 10 and a half days. Then that's how long it's going to take to go out. And so you gradually go back to liquids again. So you go to some juices and some smoothies. Then after a few days, 3, 4, 5 days of that, you go, okay, I'm ready to go. Let's try something solid and maybe have a salad. And then you gradually go back to normal from there. So it's really every 3 months we're doing like a 31 and a half day process of cleansing. And that just keeps you honest, because otherwise the bad habits will take over. Otherwise the influence of like, hey, just come over for dinner. Come on, just have a little bit of this and a little bit of that takes over. And all of a sudden there's a little bit too much weight on, and you go, uh-oh, I'm in trouble now. Or suddenly it's really a lot of weight. And I go through this all the time, right? Because when you get to a certain age, as you know, most of you realize this, it's like to get that weight off and get back to the thin you that you remember from your 20s or 30s, you got to work harder at it. And so every single cleanse, I'm like, okay, it's not flat yet. I got to get this thing down. This stomach's got to go flat. And sure enough, come about day 5 or 6 or 7 on that water fast, it's flat. And I'm back to normal. And I'm like, okay, I'm back. And then, takes sometimes a month, 2 months to have a bad day where you're like, oh, I shouldn't have eaten that. And then, as you get into maybe month 3 after the cleanse, you're like, oh no, I gained the 5 pounds back, or I gave 10 pounds. Then you go back and suddenly we're on to the other cleanse. So I do that consistently. If you're new, try 1 cleanse a year. If you're a little bit more sophisticated, try 2. If you're even more sophisticated than that, try 4. Every change of seasons. And there's people out there who will coach you along. I like to coach you along. Fully Raw Christina, you could talk to her. She loves to coach people along on cleansing and juice feasting, and just find the person that resonates with you and just go for it. And what feels really good to get that strength back and that energy back and that vitality back that you had when you were in your 20s or when you're in your 30s, or even sometimes even in your teen years. You can hit those kind of moments. I hit them occasionally. I was kind of feeling that a little bit today. We went out today. We went to a local river that's behind where I live over here. And we're collecting rocks and just having fun, splashing around and walking, collecting medicinal mushrooms. Found some reishi today, a really strong day of picking, and was just feeling the sun. It was just a great, awesome experience. Okay, let's look at a few more images here, and we'll talk about some of the things that I found that are really key with cleansing. And no matter where you go, there you are. You're always with you, right? You're in your avatar. You're not going to be able to escape your body. So you got to just live with your body. You got to make that body better.